Good evening, good afternoon. Thank you again for watching the Four Direction. Sorry, we have started the show for today later than unexpected time because of other condition that out of our control. So, in today's topic, we have a guest from South Sudan. Today is February 8, 2021. The topic of the discussion is the socio-political problems in South Sudan and the way forward. I'm joined by a guest who is a poet and also a writer, Boi John. He has several novels, poet, book. Some of his publications are Jannate Al Khafaish, it's a novel, Guarding of Paths, and Komian, also a novel. Marfat El Salab, also a novel. This is a collection of short stories. He studies medicine at the University of Bahr El Ghazal in 2016. He was a medical officer. He is still a medical officer for several health institutions in South Sudan. And he also get a chance to travel all over the country and experience different culture, different places. He also speak more than 4 local languages and 2 formal languages. So please help me welcome Boi John. Hi, Boi.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, hello, Mary. Hello, Mary. I'm
How are
hearing
you?
you well. I wish you. Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing well here.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you please try to put the microphone closer so we can? So, how are you? It has been quite a long time since we last met. I remember last time when I met you, and you showed me the first
Yeah,
chapter for your first novel, the script when you were writing it.
actually, that was. It's like 7 years ago when I was writing my first novel, Komian, and Komian in short is about the memories that included our memories in Khartoum, and has actually memories to do with the Anyanya one, or the first first Sudanese civil war, and the events like the events of Kokora, and so on. So it was actually in the process when we met in the Juba. I remember in Atlabara when we were
Yeah,
in newspaper.
newspaper. Yeah, but
Is
you
it?
showed me the script in Jama Juba. I remember we were in the Jama Juba club, the cafeteria, the restaurant, and you showed me the first chapter of the script. So yeah, that was a good memory that we have just started the conversation with. The story is talking about the memory of Anyanya One and also the political movement at that time. And you were also a South Sudanese citizen, like a Sudanese who were living in Khartoum at that time. And there is this gap generation between Anyanya One and also when you were born. So what drive you to write about that specific period of time?
Actually, the issues of Anyanya one and the issues of Kokora, it's something to so many people's, like it's just something to do with history. But if we dig deeper and deeper in the current situation in South Sudan regarding what is taking place right now in social and political differences between the generations and between different tribes and classes in same generation, it has so many influence that coming from that era of Anyanya one and era of Kokora, because I see like people inheriting the problems from their fathers, unsolved for sure problems. Like up to now, some people is still recalling the differences of Kokora when they faced by some situations or they face by some challenges in the country. So in my point of view, for us to move ahead as a country, we have to go back to our history, trying not to change the history because you cannot change the history for sure, but to understand the events that led to that mistakes and to acknowledge that there is so many mistakes that have been committed and to make a decision that we shouldn't repeat it, the same mistakes again. So it's all about trying to find solution of the present times in the past, as the treatment cannot be accurate without accurate diagnosis of disease itself.
Why Kokara? Why did you choose this topic specifically?
Hello?
Yes. Why Kokara specifically? Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing well. I'm hearing you well, despite that the network is very bad, but I'm struggling to hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. You still joining us with all the challenges, the technical challenges that you have. I say, why did you choose Kokara specifically to talk about?
Badon, can you repeat the question again? Because I didn't get you.
Okay, as you were unrepresented also in the Sudanese the curriculum, the educational curriculum, and there are several issues that you can talk about at that time. Why did you choose this specific topic, Kokara?
Yeah, actually, for me the issues of Kokora is crucial and important in understanding the differences that is among the communities right now in South Sudan, because so many times people are recalling the Kokora when they face by problems, and because of the issues of Kokora didn't solve yet, like no actually reconciliation that happened among the communities. So the people is still recalling the times of Kokora and the differences that arises during the Kokora as sometimes tools that politicians actually busy using in trying to achieve their long time goals, sometimes through what we call using the politics of fears. So understanding the Kokora is not as an isolated uh, incidents that happen, but as something, or as you can say, it's like a crucial, it's like a steps in the history of South Sudan, in the new history of South Sudan. So you cannot jump to current to trying to solve the current political problems without going back and understanding the differences in the past. And for me, the differences in the past, there are so many differences, but for me, the Kokora is important because the Kokora is actually can be taken as the first failure of South Sudanese to solve their problem among themselves without calling for intervention of their traditional enemies.
Just to take you to that time, you have experience traveling around Sudan and visit different places. Why writing? Why writing poet and novel? What drive you to writing?
This is actually it's very difficult question to be to be answered, and what I'm trying to say it, or what I will say, is just I will not be sure if it's actually answer to your question or not, but let's take the issue of why I'm traveling first of all. About traveling, actually I can say this is personal issue because I inherited the love of traveling and touring the places from my father, who is a police general or something like that, because he used to tell me so many stories about the places that he have been, or visiting sometimes back in his life. So when I'm growing up, I'm actually developing a kind of 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 of, of longing to to visit that places. This is first, and the second about visiting the places is important in understanding the people. As a writer, you have to understanding the people that you are writing about them, and it's important to hear from people instead of hearing about them, because there are so many actually faces of one stories. This has so many things to do with stereotyping the communities. So stereotyping the communities and stereotyping the people by telling and spreading a false things about them can only be corrected by visiting those people and hearing from them instead of hearing about them. And these issues of visiting so many places and meeting so many people and sharing so many stories with them is actually for sure eventually will create a kind of energy inside you that will lead you automatically to sit down and trying to record all those memories, because whenever you have, if you did not record it, will got finished or or let us see, will went off by the wind. This is why I'm trying to try the novels. But about writing the poet, I don't know actually why I'm writing the poet. You can help me by answering this question.
I don't know. I just think from personal experience that what most of the writers' story, that when they start writing, the first thing they start doing is poetry. Or I think poetry is the way of finding you, and then bring that writer personality from you.
I didn't hear you. Can you repeat the
I
question?
think
Because network is
poetry, poetry is the first thing that bring the creativity of writing from you. That's most of the writers and the people who do creative writing. They will start by poetry and then moving to short story and then novels.
Yeah, you're right. You're right in this one. As I actually started my writing journey in early in my life, in let's say maybe in in primary or basic schools, by writing short pieces of poems that I used to present in schools, in the school tournaments, like schools tournaments in Khartoum, cultural, or sometimes in the church, or sometimes I used to participate in editing the world newspapers in schools, and especially when I became when I reached secondary school, I became famous as a poet in the school. And later on, when in university, that for sometimes I forgot about issues of writings at all. But times back, I restart writing again, and this time I found myself in the uh, in the novels, as first of all, as a readers, because I used to read every month two to five. Sometimes on the expense of my study itself. By the end of time, when I develop interest in politics, I ask myself, how can I contribute in the field of nation building, or let us say in that time, how can I say my ideas in the national debate about what is going on in the country, Sudan at that times. So I found that writing a novels is the best way, because in the novel you are creating a whole life with giving a chances for people in the novels to exchange their view without being in one side. Like if you were in novel, because if you were in poem, because the poem is actually just about one-sided issues, but in novels you are actually um, you are creating a whole world of ideas, a whole world of conflicts, and a whole world of beautiful sides and bad sides. It's like you're trying, instead of telling the stories or giving your opinions about the things, is you're trying to help the people to reach the place that they can easily see the truth and decide by themselves to themselves.
Mhm. What do you think some of the conflicts and issues in South Sudan that literature must solve it?
I I think literature can solve so many things in South Sudan, because one of the problems of South Sudan is that really the South Sudanese do not know each other enough. You know, this is why the community is fearing each other. The people actually judging others or basing on stereotypes that they they used to accept it as a truth, without trying even to make some check and balance in their ideas. This is obvious is happening. So if the people put a lot of efforts in the area of cultural in general, and sometimes let us say in literature in specifically, this one will create a room for people to exchange ideas, and by the end of time, all the wrong ideas about the others and all the stereotypes ideas will be thrown out. As Tupac Shakur saying, "You fear me because you don't know me." So many people in South Sudan, they're just jumping in judging others without understanding uh, the motivations of others in what they are doing or what they are standing for.
Mm.
So for me, the literature is giving a space for people to healthy discuss their ideas and healthy exercise the right to be different in what they are believing in.
Mm. What about politics? What kind of scenarios in politics that literature also can solve, and in which context?
Mm, for me, politics is just a reflections to a community by the way or others. So if for people to make some reforms, really reforms in the politics, people they have to work hard in changing the communities attitudes, the ways of communities, because the politics right now in South Sudan, we can say it's not it's not a genuine politics that actually stand for the public interest, but rather it's all about the personal interests. It's about the dividing the people and all these things, which is actually just pulling the country and the community backward. So for me, the real reform in the politics need people to put a lot of ideas first in trying to change the mind of people. Second, trying to, instead of going just for straight to negotiation on to all this, we have to have some forces that working in the grassroots, trying to change the communities from the grand roots, because all those messes happening in the politics is just a reflections of community, because the unhealthy community usually actually by the end of time just creating unhealthy politician and unhealthy political environment. This does not mean that we are clearing up the politicians, but also we need the politicians who are actually looking behind the legacy instead of looking behind the care and interest and the long, and I mean the short term gainings of politics. So all this one is about what? It's about we have to change the mind, and this one can be again done through what through putting a lot of efforts in cultural field, and also in referring going back to your question in the field of literature. So the literature can contribute a lot here.
Can you do me a favor? Just turn the camera so we can see you properly. Thank you. So do you think the elder generation of writers have worked enough on that?
I think according to, or taking into consideration that they were in, I think they did more than enough. Like for example, people like Taban Loliong and people like Asira Ney, Quiljang, people like Joseph Abuk. All these people, they did their best, because during their time they don't have actually the chances that our generation have it, and during their time also, most of them, they don't have actually they don't have land, or they don't have a country really to that they can say they belong to. So they were working and writing in very difficult situation, but for me they managed to put the name of South Sudan among the other nations, and they managed to actually to pass to us what the writing can do. Because if you take the example of people like Taban Loliong, like he was actually alone representing South Sudan as a nation, because some people, or some people in some countries, they just became interested in knowing South Sudan after they come in contact with the name of Taban Loliong. So for me, I can give them the credit that they have succeeded indeed.
Mm-hmm. I just take you to the question, what about the educational, the curriculum also for students who are studying literature or writer? What is the problem with that? Because a lot of people also, we still have a younger generation who wanna study writing, they wanted to go in English and literature, but what is missing in this curriculum? What need to be done? What need to be added there to create this kind of you said the mature generation, the people who are creative, people who have that, to bring that peaceful society, and then politicians?
Actually, if we are saying, if the question is what is missing in curriculum, I said this is misleading question, because this question actually is it's like saying there is something in the place, but it has to be put it in the good manner or other. What is right now in the place? There is no, what we can say, a real curriculum in South Sudan. Because the curriculum right now in South Sudan, people is like they are actually just begging curriculum from other countries. Some people they are taking from Sudanese curriculum. Some people in love with this African curriculum. Some people believe in the Western world and trying to make a sort of what a sort of something like you cannot describe it, but if we go to fine arts, we can use collage. You know collage. So the curriculum right now is used like it looks like collage. And the different and curriculum cannot be actually, or shouldn't be, looks like collage. It's supposed to be something that has goals wanted to be achieved. Okay. Regarding the issues of language, or let us say the issues of literature, according to my knowledge or my information, nothing like this right now. There is no literature as a subject in South Sudanese curriculum. No, just there is English as a language, but literature is something different from
in
language.
the university.
Because no, it's not in university. I'm talking about the basic or the general education. But in university, there is still the oral curriculum of Sudan. It's still in universities, which is composed of Western literature, then African literature, then what used to be called Sudanese literature. But people are in Juba for some time back, writing in newspapers. They are demanding that the South Sudanese literature to be
so sorry, we missed Boi John because of the internet connection. We are still in our topic for today, the socio-political problems in South Sudan and the way forward. My guest is Boi John. He is a writer and also a poet from South Sudan. And he is a medical expert and a doctor, studying medicine. And he's just joined us back to continue our discussion for today. Welcome back. Thank you again.
Yeah. Sorry for the network. I was just in short. I was saying that up to now there is no place for actually there is no South Sudanese literature as a subject in universities, and people right now demanding that peoples like Taban Loliong and Sirane Koljing and the others like Edward Lino, Warvier, to be included in their books. I mean, to be included as a part of curriculum in universities, and people are still advocating for that. And I'm taking this opportunity to ask the people to make some initiative, some initiatives through Facebook or social medias, so that the people can actually give momentum to this beautiful demand.
So talking also about the elder generation of writers, you have writers like, for example, Agnes Lukudu. She was a writer, and she have written, and also she have one of the book was one of
She's
her
a great writer indeed.
In the Sudanese curriculum, and it has been inside the people for a long time. I guess there is something missing there. Why this elder generation writer are not existing today? What is the problem? Why are they not connecting to the society?
This is an interesting question. I even even me, I would like to have a, a correct answer or a good answer about it. But people like Agnes Lokodo, and she's a great writer, by the way. People just used to know her as a politician and as or a governor of Bahr El Ghazal by then. So I think this issue is because of we have very weak um, cultural minister of culture ever in South Sudan, and all the people who are given that assignment of being minister of culture, they are actually taking this assignment as they were actually thrown out of the game. So they will not take the job seriously, and the fight.
So, we're still on the topic of the socio-political problems, challenges in South Sudan. I'm joined by the writer, Boi John. Sorry for that, because we have difficulties of internet. He's trying to join us as much. So, yeah, welcome. We're talking about,
Yeah. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for
no
this network
problem at
problem.
all. We know what you are facing. Like you are doing your best to join us and connect with us. So we all know that we have the internet challenges, and it's one of the problems, socio-political problems that we face in the country.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. Yeah, I was saying the issues is all about the people who are actually assigned to the Ministry of Cultural in Juba, because in our political or in our government system in South Sudan, people taking the job not as a service to the people, but as a source of enriching themselves. So uh, any politician given the assignments in cultural sector of government will not take it seriously. Rather, he will take it just as a place as a waiting room, okay, as a waiting room for next assignment. So he will just spend all his time lobbying for other positions, and sometimes trying to to make the situation worse for the people in that field, so that the government or those in the kitchen can give him another assignment.
Also, I think there is writers like David Lukudo. He has written well about Khartoum and the Sharia law and the Islamic State, and also because you were raised up there and you went to school there. I think also you face a lot of challenges, either especially in the educational system, or also as a citizens of South Sudan at that time. Have you seen yourself writing about that time?
Yeah. Because because in Sudan, if you are South Sudanese and it's happened that you are a Christian, a South Sudanese and Christian at the same time, then for sure you will feel discriminated, especially in the people who are actually raised up in they raised up in towns or suburbs that no you cannot find church nearby, or sometimes you have to went out of classes during the Islamic religion studies, or sometimes you have to go for so many times in the week just to look for Christian religion studies. So it was not actually something that is by chance that you will actually get it in the bus or in the stations, but it's a type of life. So it's a type of life. Discrimination itself became a type of life. So whenever you are going to place that, before saying anything, before doing anything, that you have to remind yourself that you are a Christian, you are a South Sudanese, you are different, okay? And all this one will, by the end of time, it has to influence the writing that you are right, or even in all the aspects of your life. And even this one is actually you can see it in the dramas, in the plays of dramas groups like Kuato or like Amaus or like Orbab. All the dramas or plays, it were actually just talking about this kind of discrimination. And in my first novel, Komian, that I have shown you the script when I was writing it 7 years back, there is maybe 3 or 4 chapters, all of them dedicated to record and to register for the history a kind of discrimination we were facing as a South Sudanese. But for me, the bad thing is that even after the independence in South Sudan, some South Sudanese they felt that they are still facing a sort of discrimination, and this is the bad side of the history ever. Yeah.
So this is the point I was going to discuss with you. Do you think all these issues have been solved, like issues like discrimination, religious, after the independence, it has been solved? And also, if you are going outside right now to a diplomatic place and you are telling people about South Sudan, what kind of issues or problem you tell them that the country have, or how will you sell the country as? What are the potential that the country has?
I think the issue of feel discriminated in your own country is not something that unique to South Sudan. It's actually all over the world. But the problem is that if
sorry, we missed Boi again because of the internet connection. As we all know that the internet issues in Africa in general and in South Sudan. We are trying to finish the show for today. We continue our discussion for the topic today. Send us your suggestion. What do you think the problem, socio-political problem in South Sudan? So welcome back, Boi.
No problem. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that interruption.
We understand that it's out of your control or out of your hand. So yeah, we were talking about the challenges.
I'm saying the issues of feel discriminated based on your religions or based on your tribes or sometimes based on your social classes. This is not something unique, and it's South Sudanese. It's not an exception to this one. But the problem is that if you feel this discrimination is actually the policy, the state policy, or if you feel this discrimination is a kind of systemic issues, and if there is a South Sudanese who feel it like this, that means that we are in trouble. But I hope that the people in South Sudan, especially the elite, taking this issue seriously. Because you asked me about the image of South Sudan, and what should I say if I encounter by a question like outside, for example, to talk about my country or something like this. In short, I can say that the South Sudan is not the South Sudan is maybe could be seen as a failed state right now, but South Sudan still has a bright future to be achieved. All we need is that the people to understand themselves, to acknowledge their mistakes, to know that there is no room for people to win in this for special people or a special political, I mean specific people or a specific group of people or group of political organizations to take the country wherever they want to take the country without challenge, without being challenged. The only way for country to move forward is for everybody to make a kind of let us say a kind of win-win agreement.
So to a point, why medicine?
Or let us say by other way, we need a policy. We need a culture of compromising. People have to teach themselves how to compromise in issues, in order to reach the middle places that everybody can find himself or herself winning or winner.
Take you to a question: why medicine? Why did you study medicine, and you still have the passion of practicing medicine today?
I'm still enjoying. As you can see in the in the background right now, I'm in the hospital. I
remember we discussed something in 2013 with you. We discussed something. We're in Juba University, and we're talking about writers who left the medicine field to be writers only. Only like Chinua Achebe, Chimamanda
Chimamanda.
So that time you tell me something. You tell me something like, "Oh, the bad thing that they're leaving medicine to be a writer. They are not finishing medicine." So what led you like continue in medicine, studying medicine and practicing?
Yeah. Well, what led me to continue actually in medicine, even though the medicine sometimes is affecting.
So still have the internet challenge, but Boi is going to join us soon. It's still in the topic of socio-political challenges in South Sudan. I was joined by Boi John. He's a writer and a poet. He studied medicine in University of Bahr El Ghazal, and he's also a welcome boy. So yeah.
I can remember the question that you asked me in University of Juba, and if I can still remember in France Cultural Center.
That's right.
About the people like Chimamanda and Chinua Achebe who left the medicine field, and they just dedicate all their life for writings. I remember I told you that at that time, if I were in other country, I would have been left the medicine and just giving all my time for writings. But this one is actually practically. First of all, in South Sudan, it's practically, this one is difficult. First of all, you have to struggle for your daily life. You have to have a sort of source of income, for you to sustain your life. This is first. This is something that will just push you to continue working with whatsoever type of work that you are doing. The second things I found in the medicine, something that I cannot find it anywhere, that the medicines makes you understand people, how the thought, how the things, how the looking for things, how you can actually seeing the people dying, seeing the people actually in the moment of hopes, and seeing the people hopeless at all. All this I'm enjoying all this as a writer, because you cannot actually you cannot meet so many people with different feelings at one point, like what you are, the medicine as a career is like it's like a borehole of it's like a source point of water in the deep forest, because in the deep forest all the animals just met each other in the water points, so it's like this in the medicine, all the people just come to you where you are, and by working with them, listening to them, trying to help them, you will actually, by the way of the other, getting stories, and sometimes solving the problems of your soul. because sometimes maybe you will went out so desperate or so actually hopeless, but when you encounter by some people who is most hopeless than you, then you will just take your praise and thank God you are still alive. Maybe this is one of the things that let me continue working. And I'm not sure if I'm going to left medicine, but what I'm what I'm sure about it, I have to continue.
So you, as a younger generation, representing news also, you study, you speak several languages, most over four local languages, and you have you do writing in Arabic, right? And also English in the work environment. So I just want to know, like, you talk about all these challenges, and you yourself as a young person.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
What give the youth? How can we bring those potential youth like you to the community, and what need to be done for them to be creative in the society?
Okay. Giving them the space to express themselves, trying to help them to find their ways instead of showing them where to go. I think this is three things is important in raising up healthy generations with open-minded, that actually will not just take the ideas as it is, but will instead confront the different ideas and accepting what is not in their mind before.
On the international platform, if you are putting the South Sudanese youth in a scale of other youth, how can they learn from the other youth?
Or you mean from? I think the South Sudanese, not just youth, the South Sudanese in general, before going out and trying to learn from the foreigners, they themselves they can learn from from each other, because there are so many stories of a part of the stories of failures. There are so many stories of success in South Sudan, and there is in our history, in near history, right now in the present time, there are so many stories of success, so people can learn from themselves before going to learn from the outsiders. For me, if the people accepting that they can learn from each other locally, then the country or the community as a whole will be in the right direction.
So when you talk about these successful people, who are those people? Can you just give example, few names of them?
I think a successful people, I mean those people who are actually doing the jobs that if you look into what they're doing, you will find this one is actually moving the country ahead and giving a sort of hopes to the country. Like, for example, despite the criticism, people like Mary Boyoyo, what they're doing right now is actually a great job, because she's inspiring people in two areas, which is important. The first one, that you have to follow what you want to do, or what you want to achieve, and the second is that you have to accept what people saying about you, even if that things is negatives, without letting it affecting you in what you are doing. So people like her, for me, it's really people representing the or giving the example of success, and people like those of Anna Taban. If you can take people like those of Anna Taban, in Juba, or people like the people like Jalpan and Kot and all those painters in Juba, those young South Sudanese painters, or people like Abuluyai, all those people, they're actually giving a beautiful sides of community, of South Sudanese community, of people like South Sudan national basketball teams who is playing right now in Tunisia. Those people, they're inspiring people that there is still a beautiful things in the country, a part of messes in politics and distractions in social and all these bad things. And there is also people who cannot be, I cannot actually mention their name, but people who are continued to, in the places like OPCs in Malakal, or where people, there is people there who are actually still trying to educate the upcoming generation in the fields like music. They are sometimes giving all themselves to establish schools and churches, and defying hates in those places. Those people, they are actually the true patriotic in our country, and their stories has to be told.
So when
To
is
be
this?
told, I mean,
When is this conflict going to end in literature on real life, and what measurement it should take for it to be solved?
I think about when the war will end.
Yeah, so we're still on the topic of the socio-political system challenges in South Sudan. I'm joined by poet and writer Boi John. He's just back because of the internet issues. Welcome back. We are almost closing.
Yeah, I think about your question, when the war will end it. This question is difficult because what is easy is to decide when the war will start or will begin, because you can actually just decide it like this. But war itself, when it started or erupted, is actually bringing so many things that you never sort of, you never actually think about it. So for me right now, what is important is not, it's not it's not consuming all our time in this question when the war will end, but it's about doing things that will heal the community, because the community right now is not, is unhealthy and is broken. So by healing the community, we are actually like, we are drying the source. We are drying the the we actually, it's like we are what can I say? What I'm trying to say is that by healing the communities, is like you are giving no reason for this war to continue. Because if you can see, this war in South Sudan is prolonging, because the parties of the warring parties are investing in the differences among the communities. So if the activists and the people who are actually really caring about the future of South Sudan, working hard in the areas of uh, of 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 these differences between the communities, then the warring parties that investing in the community, the communities differences, or the differences among the communities, will not get so many chances for this war to continue.
So just a last question: if you walk at one day and you are thinking about a new book that you will write or something that you will do, what will be the title? And just imagine you have one paragraph from that book.
Yeah, I cannot disclose.
Oh,
Yeah, I cannot disclose, but what I'm writing right now is I'm writing a new novel. Actually, this novel is fully about the Anyanya one, you know, this, or let us say about the first Sudan civil war. And in this novel, I'm trying to find out the hidden ideas and the hidden aspects that is not written in the formal history, which is people are actually taking right now as a one-sided history, because as I said in the beginning of this interview, that the era of Anyanya one is one of the most important period times in the history of South Sudan, and some of differences is still, you know, is still influencing the current political situation. And in short, the ruling party in South Sudan right now, SPLM, and the other political parties in South Sudan, all those political parties, in the way or other, has links with with the Anyanya One movement. Some is like in terms of individuals themselves, because some of those individuals used to be a part of Anyanya One, or some of them used to be an enemies of Anyanya One, or some of them used to be actually people who were not in the agreement with those of Nyanya one. So those people, they inherited all these problems of that era to the current political elites. So understanding that that period of our history is very important. And other thing is that it's about traveling. I'm interested in that area because the South Sudanese modern community, you know, or the community of cities, is actually starting to appear at that time. So the places like Juba or like Wa or like Malakal, it has in that time of Anyanya, it has a full life, full modern life, full of music. Cities full of music. Cities full of love stories. Cities full of all the luxuries of the modern life, which is which is unfortunately it's not existing. It's not exist right now in the like cities like Juba. Imagine Juba right now hasn't any kind of cinema. You know, capital city of the whole country without cinema. In the Anyanya era or in the 70s era, there were a cinema in Juba, which is turned right now into church, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this will be my task. But this one is difficult because we don't have archive. Because writing about that period of time, you have to find for yourself some archive that will helping you to create the cities at that time, to the character of the people, the characters of the city, how it looks, how used to looks like. All this all these things need a lot of help and a lot of people to help. And this is actually I'm taking this, if you allow me, I'm taking this opportunity to ask the people who have a sort of archive of Anyanya One to help me. Okay, in form of documents, or in form of pictures, or in form in Holmes' diaries.
Yeah, sure. Just a quick question, more less than 1 second. Yeah, this is this is an appeal. Like he's asking anyone who have, also people who have been lived during that time, or they have like stories, narrative stories, personal stories, they can reach out to him and help him to finish his new novel. Just a quick question, less than 1 minute. Like, what is next? What is next in your journey? Will you continue being a writer, or you are thinking to shift to another shifting career?
I will for sure continue to be a writer, but for sometimes I have to, and sometimes to come, I have to stop writing stories and novels for some years, because I want to to write about my travelings to different cities of South Sudan. Like for right now, I'm so happy because I managed to visit all the South Sudan, and I want to write this one down before I became elder and starting losing my memories and getting tired of life.
Wish you good luck, Boi. Thank you so much, Boi. Thank you for your time and all this energy. And yeah, you just keep inspiring young people, one of the energetic people in South Sudan that have to take an example and lead for others to follow.
Actually, I do apologize for this interview. It would have been better than this one, but the issues of network, yeah. So the next time, I hope it will be better than this one.
Sure, no problem at all. We understand the challenges and that. Also, the technical issues and Africa is mostly 70% out of internet. There's other challenges as well. So thank you so much, Boi, and thank you for the audience, the viewers, the nice comments. Thank you. It's really a good document of our history. Thank you so much. Thank you for all those who join us and share the show for today. I was joined. The topic of today was the socio-political problems in South Sudan and the way forward. I was joined by Boi John. He's a writer and a poet from South Sudan. Thank you, Boi. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah. Thank you, and thank you for your audience and listeners, and I wish them nights full of sweet and beautiful dreams.
Thank you. You too. A wonderful.
You're welcome.
Writer memory. Okay. Bye. So the end of our program for today. The topic of today was the discussion about the socio-political problems in South Sudan and the way forward. I was joined by Boi John. He's a writer and poet, and I was the host, Mary Apollo. Wish to meet you again in a different episode, in a different show, discuss different issues around the globe. Send us your suggestion, and please subscribe to the Facebook page for direction and YouTube channel, and don't forget to share with your friend. Have a good night and have a good day, good evening whenever you're watching me from. Bye.